Welcome to Leg Day, featuring my sister who's looking at the camera setup a little bit funny. But yeah, so, we're hitting the legs. First, I think, leg day I've ever made a post about and all that good stuff. So, yeah, we're starting off with some cable hip abduction. I honestly would rather have the machines, but, in both gyms, actually, that I had to, that does not exist. So, we have to work with what we got, which is a movement that is not necessarily the most stable inherently, but I do my darndest to really activate that inner thigh muscle and just really, crank these out in a controlled but intense manner. And our second movement of the day is the hack squat. And honestly, I have a very much love-hate relationship with this machine for the fact that it's able to target the quads quite well, but the spine compression I get from it is just not my favorite thing. And for this movement, I find myself doing 2 to 3 sets. It does depend on the day, because if I feel like I can really, get some extra juice from this movement, I will lay into it a bit more. But typically what I'll end up doing is I kind of overestimate the amount of weight I can do for a particular amount of reps, more or less. So I tend to at least drop sets, for one of the sets. And to me, the kind of achieving pass failure kind of thing, to minimize fatigue, I want to keep the set range a little bit lower, so typically if there's a drop set involved, I usually try to keep it to 2, but if there isn't, I do try to push for 3. Then we have to have the footage of me being oh so studious and oh so smartsy, and writing down my reps and stuff in a journal, which I recommend a lot of people do, because it's a nice way to keep an accurate track of what you've been lifting, and I'm hoping it'll be a cool way to see how my lifts have progressed and all that fun stuff. Alright, here we are with the Q&A portion, more or less, of the vid. Definitely, it's recorded a couple days after the leg day, but what you gonna do? And yeah, let's start with this one question that is a loaded question, filled with many, so let's just kind of start off. Cohen asks, what is my favorite grade to teach? I'm a substitute teacher, by the way. Do my siblings have red hair too? When did I start going to the gym, and why? So let's knock down question number 1. What is my favorite grade to teach? It depends on the day, but majority of the time, I just vibe with high schoolers better. Mind you, I'm literally the eldest of, modern high schoolers are like, what, 2 years younger than me only. I'm 20, and as a substitute teacher, I'm like teaching 18-year-olds, which is just really bonkers. But I enjoy teaching at the high school level because, like, they get their work done. They can be a bit rowdy at times, but it's like, it's within reason. Sometimes, like, especially at the middle school level, there will be goofiness and more or less off-taskness to an unreasonable sort. And once they're in high school, they just kind of understand that if they, more or less keep the volume down, just do something, they're going to make it through and, be fine. And that kind of mentality I appreciate working with because it makes my job a whole lot easier. Next. Do my siblings have red hair too? Yes, all 4 of us have red hair. It's quite interesting. My mom's genetics just powerhoused my dad's. It's kind of funny. But anyway, and then lastly, when did you start going to the gym and why? So I started going to the gym September of 2022, which, over 2 years ago at this point, and I started going because actually I wanted to run a marathon. I wanted to become a better distance runner. Part of me wanted to train for my college's, cross-country team, see if I can be a walk-on maybe if I tried hard enough. So I ended up, going to the gym, lifting the weights. I wanted to be a bit more muscly because I was a little bit more of a petite guy at the time. And it kind of, turned into, as I was looking into, different workouts and things to do to train certain muscle groups, I stumbled on, all these different creators, all these different videos of these, like, huge hulking guys, and I'm like, whoa, that's crazy how they look like that. And I started lifting, and then I looked in the mirror, and I went, good distance runner, me, 5'6", a little blocky. Or semi-decent bodybuilder. And I opted to try out for the semi-decent bodybuilder thing. It's turning out okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. Do I plan on not being natural in the future? Oh, we're hitting the heavy hitters right off the bat. Actually, we'll save that one for later. Next, what body parts do I feel was the easiest for me to grow, and what was the hardest for me to grow? Oh, shucks. Oh, geez. That's actually a toughie. This might be a cop-out. Easiest to grow is my front delt. I look back at old videos. Those front delts were popping pretty quick. But, I mean, I guess to give a more legit answer, I would say, give me my back. I think, even though I didn't realize it at the time, like, my back was something that just came very naturally. It's something that, holds very naturally for me. I have very, thicker insertions, more or less, so the density of them showed relatively easily and stuff like that once, I was putting on weight. So my back, and, it's still a very strong, kind of focus point of my physique right now, so I'd say, once again, the back. And then the hardest part for me to grow, it's currently my legs. Part of me did want to say arms because, I struggled, but just because I was training them inefficiently. And once I started giving them a semi-decent regiment, like I have been, they, started to grow. So shocking. But even with legs, even with my more kind of meticulous ways of training them, I've yet to really find a way that gets them to blow up. They're looking better. They are looking better. But it's just still something that, we're working on a bit. So I would say easiest, back. Hardest would be currently legs. Legs, yeah, I just wish they're a bit more sizey. Also, the insertions are a bit more narrow, so for them to look larger is a little bit more difficult. Ooh, my bicep workout. Okay, this one, actually I've been getting a lot of comments on my biceps recently, which is bizarre because I never really had good biceps until more or less recently. So my training methodology is more of a frequency kind of based one, so the way that works is I have 3 different bicep exercises that I will do, separate days of the week, kind of spaced out nicely-ish. So I do a preacher curl variation, for 2 sets pretty dang hard for one day. The next day I'll do a drag curl variation, whether it be dumbbell or cable or something like that. And then I do a hammer curl variation on the next day. And then doing that has seemed to really allow my biceps, to beef up a little bit. So that's kind of what I do. So, it works. It might not work for you, but, do your, you can try it. Oh my gosh, I'm so burpy. All right, but anyway, the big, awesome question, the one that people actually, I think, really do want to know. This one has some weight to it here. Do I plan on not being natural in the future? Whew, that's a hot topic right there. Gosh darn. But, to cut to the chase, I definitely plan on being not natural. That is in the cards. That is in the realm of what is going to happen. It's not even to the point of, is it a possibility? It's going to happen because I know I would not like myself. I would not be content with my life if I don't go for it, And it's something you hear a lot of people say, it's just it's not worth the risk. Why would you even take it? I would take it because I will never know what I could have been, if I don't do it. It's I'm very aware, and I'm pretty sure I could have, pretty baller natural physique, if I kept training and, decades on decades, just stay natural. It would be a good physique. It would be one that other people would envy, but I would know it would not be, to my fullest potential, and that's something. Not very often does the idea of, not reaching my fullest potential, eat at me, for a lot of different endeavors in life. I've been okay with, just being okay at a lot of things. But bodybuilding has been the first thing that I've, really found that it really all relies on me. And it's something that I would just hate myself if I didn't, give it every single thing I got. And this, unfortunately, means getting over my little, fear of needles, more or less, because, your boy is absolutely terrified of those things, but I've been doing some, what I will call needle desensitizing, whatever you want to call it, where I will just watch people take, TRT shots, I will watch people get flu shots, I will watch people get blood drawn, just so I can, watch it go, whew, whew. It feels like I'm in the room, but it's just I need to get over that so I can do what needs to be done to be my best self, and that's something that, I feel like
I'm not gonna say everyone needs to do steroids. That's what needs to happen. No, that's not what needs to happen. What needs to happen is people need to find something within their lives that they can have a fair bit of control of, and just full send it. You need to find one thing in your life and just go for it. And even if you end up falling flat on your face, you went for it. You tried. Because too many people, I think, go through life without taking those large risks and really just going for it and living to their fullest potential. And that's something I am not willing to do. And especially in this case, knock on wood, but also literally, if I die trying, I will, it'll be something I can be content with. And that's how I want to live. I want to live a life with, honestly, no regrets, and having tried everything I've wanted to try. And I think with that, looking at all these other things, I am done with that. So that was a relatively short Q&A. I would like to have longer ones in the future, obviously. So, if you have any questions you'd like to ask, feel free to ask them on this video even, and they might be in the next Q&A, which will probably be a little while down the line, but, your question will be utilized anyway. So, yeah, that's that. See ya.